Support comes from the Janice Hawkins Cultural Arts Park on the main campus of Troy University, featuring the International Arts Center, the Fred Nall Hollis Museum, and the Hua Baoju Gallery. More information at troy.edu/artspark.
From Troy Public Radio, this is In Focus, and I'm Carolyn Hutchison. Historic Westville Village in Columbus, Georgia, is a community where visitors can experience life as it was in the 1800s. April Kirk is Executive Director, and she joins us today to share what makes Westville Village a unique destination. April, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Where is Westville Village located?
Historic Westville Village is located in Columbus, Georgia, right along the Chattahoochee River. In the southernmost point of Columbus, outside the entrance to Fort Benning, where previously we were in Stewart County in Lumpkin.
You yourself are a well-known artist. Are you trying to bring the arts more to the forefront?
Absolutely. One of the great things about Westville and the story we tell is about the craftspeople and the trades. And so we are really trying to preserve those things and bring more crafting and fine arts into what we're doing at Westville now.
April, what's the story behind Westville Village's name?
Historic Westville Village is actually named in honor of Colonel John Ward West, who is the unofficial founder of Westville today. Born shortly after the end of the Civil War, he grew up learning traditional trades and crafts from his grandparents, and he really set out to preserve this history and these skills, and he called it Saving Georgiana. And Colonel West created what was known as the Fair of 1850, and he acquired houses from Georgia to preserve them, and people would come and learn how to loom, how to rifle a gun, how to fall a tree. And the Fair of 1850 grew so much that it was known as the Dixie Smithsonian. And then after he passed away, it was people in Columbus that really wanted to preserve that legacy.
Who inspired him to create this village?
He was inspired by Rockefeller and Henry Ford, and in fact reached out to both of them to find out how they created their own living history experiences. You know, everyone knows Colonial Williamsburg, and he reached out to them to get advice. His goal was actually for the state to acquire the Fair of 1850 as part of the state park system and historic site. And he wasn't successful in that, but because of what he created, which later was incorporated into Historic Westville, it is still known as the third oldest living history experience in the United States, behind Colonial Williamsburg and Dearborn.
Give us the location so that your listeners can arrange a visit.
Absolutely. We are located at 3557 South Lumpkin Road in Columbus. We are adjacent to the National Infantry Museum and Oxbow Meadows Environmental Center, so it makes a wonderful trip for people to experience a lot of history, culture, and nature all in one area.
Give us an overview of what your visitors can find today.
Historic Westville Village, located in Columbus, has 17 historic structures. We are still working on some preservation, so not all of them are open yet, but it definitely gives people a reason to come back and visit later. When they come, they meet our team. They're historic interpreters who are very passionate about their craft. Some are skilled tradespeople and some are apprenticing. They dress in period wardrobe and they share the history of their structures, Colonel John West, the people that would have lived and worked in these buildings, and they demonstrate these traditional crafts and trades.
What are some of those popular structures where the interpreters are?
Well, everyone loves a blacksmith. It embodies the sights, sounds, smells, of a working living history town. Next to our blacksmith, we have so many other wonderful structures that tell great history. We have a wood shop, a boot shop, a quilt shop, a general store. We even have a doctor's office, and we have a couple homes and even two churches.
So literally, you're stepping back into what the mid 1800s would have been like in Georgia.
Yes, we are set up like a village. So at the center of our town is the Chattahoochee County Courthouse. Surrounding that are our shops. And then on the outer edges are our churches and our homes.
April, as an artist, what is your vision for historic Westville Village program wise?
We really want to preserve the traditional trades and crafts. So, as we learned in 2020 when the pandemic hit, people really wanted to make more, they wanted to bake more. So, cottage core is very much something people want to learn. So, we want to teach that to them. And it also helps to preserve these things, and we can tell the history behind them. And sometimes we do them fully the traditional way, and then sometimes we incorporate some modern techniques into it, but we're still preserving that history of how these people lived at this time. And we can get creative with it. So our blacksmith shop is actually credited with being the birthplace of the Artist Blacksmithing Association of North America. So it's not just traditional blacksmiths making hooks or horseshoes. These are artist blacksmithings, getting really creative, making fine works of art out of steel.
This is an incredible story that you're telling us today. When is Westville Village open for visitors?
Currently, we are open Fridays and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. In June and July, we will include half days on Sundays starting at 1 p.m. And then as we go into the fall, we're going to add more days. But we're always available for special groups, tours, and even outreach programs where we can go into the community and bring craft projects.
How does historic Westville Village differ from other museums?
Sometimes when people think about museums, they think about things behind glass and quieter, more stoic spaces. The joy of Westville as a museum is you can touch almost everything. So we don't really have ropes or display cases. You're walking into spaces as if people are still using them, working in them, and living in them. So our museum aspect is to really be inclusive and tactile. So people can touch and experience what it was like living at this time period. But also we use good museum practices to make sure we're properly preserving things, telling the correct stories, and making sure that they last for generations to come.
How do you include children in the Westville Village experience?
Definitely our school programs, which isn't just for a classroom-based student, but also homeschool groups and even family groups. We dive a little deeper into the history and really try to hit important educational points. For children, it is a phenomenal place because a child can touch and they can experience, so they can learn at their own pace and they can really engage with the objects and the history. We do a lot of craft programs for children, but we also incorporate STEM, STEAM, vocabulary, literature, and all other aspects of a school-based curriculum.
April, can you give us a website for more information?
Visit us at westville.org, but we also encourage people to follow us on Facebook. That's always going to have the most up-to-date event information, and it's Historic Westville Village.
Well, thank you so much for your visit today, and I look forward to talking with you again in the future.
I would love that. Thank you so much for letting me share the story of Colonel John West and Historic Westville Village.
That was April Kirk, Executive Director of Historic Westville Village in Columbus, Georgia. Thanks for joining us today for In Focus, which is a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Carolyn Hutchison, and this is listener-supported Troy Public Radio.